So normally when I record these videos, I have a pretty good idea about who's going to start at quarterback. That's not the case this week. When we're talking about Steelers and Bears, I do not know, as I record this on Friday, if it's going to be Mason Rudolph behind center or Aaron Rodgers for Pittsburgh. And you know what? I don't think it matters. Let's break it down. Teddy covers WagerTalk.com with a big game breakdown for Sunday's NFL action. Right now, looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen, painted across the board. Chicago minus 2.5, total 45.5 in Soldier Field, at Soldier Field in the Windy City for Sunday early start NFL action. And of course, if you guys want a free trial of the Odds Logic live odds screen, get 7 days all access, free trial. Go to oddslogic.com/Teddy. At this time of year where you're trying to bet a bunch of different sports at a bunch of different times, it's really helpful. Again, free. oddslogic.com/Teddy, free 7-day trial. But it's worth noting there aren't a whole lot of threes out there for Chicago. It's 2.5 pretty much across the board. And from a total standpoint, we've seen a little bit of over money, which we don't often see in late November in the Windy City, although it's supposed to be fairly reasonable conditions for this one. From a power rating standpoint for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, who's dealing with pain management issues, who's making excuses already. The quotes, here's what Calvin Austin, the wide receiver, said, about Mason Rudolph last week. Quote, "We're very comfortable with Mason, went through him all through the OTAs and everything, came in, did exactly what we expect him to do, just dice up the defense and spread the ball around." Mason Rudolph's the guy who's basically playing for his career when he's in the game. And in theory, he can get another chance to the starter somewhere, maybe even here in Pittsburgh. Who knows how long Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Steeler. I'll take the under. And it's not like Aaron Rodgers has been particularly good for Pittsburgh. They're every bit as good with Rudolph as they are with the name QB, the former MVP QB, who is looking old. Let's, call it what it is. Maybe the oldest player in the league. You're old. Tell me. I know what it's like to get old. Aaron Rodgers has gotten old. Mason Rudolph is every bit as good right now as Aaron Rodgers, even though Rodgers has the much bigger name. And Pittsburgh, it's certainly, they had 2 defensive touchdowns last week. There's confidence offensively for the Steelers. I like the offensive line for Pittsburgh. And Chicago, I'll give them all kinds of credit. All right. The Bears have found ways to win games all season long. And I'll give credit to the coaching staff and Ben Johnson. I'll give credit to Caleb Williams, who has absolutely made plays down the stretch of tight games to get the Vikings, the Bears, the victory. But again, last week against Minnesota, that's kick return. They didn't have to get a first down on their final drive because the Vikings special teams coverage stunk. I don't see that from Pittsburgh here. And it's a Chicago team which this can feed on itself. But the Bears have the biggest positive turnover differential in the NFL. This is not a team that is built to have the biggest positive turnover differential in the NFL. Meaning, I'm not going to say it's fraudulent, but it's not going to go on forever. We cannot expect the Bears to win the turnover battle week after week by 2, 3, 4 turnovers every week like they've been doing for the better part of the last 2 months. Plus 16 in turnovers. And again, last week, it was turnovers sparking the team to make the difference. Did for Pittsburgh, too. Pittsburgh scored a couple of defensive TDs last week. I get it. But my goal, I think Rudolph has a decent chance to play at plus 2.5. I'm going to wait and see if I can get a plus 3 with Pittsburgh. But for as much as I respect the Bears, I don't trust them to lay a price at home against the Steelers. And if Rodgers plays, we get a field goal. If Rudolph plays, we get a field goal, and he's every bit as good. Even at plus 2.5, I'm interested only in the Pittsburgh side of this one. And that's my take for Sunday in the NFL. Boy, we appreciate those likes, comments, and follows very, very much. Stay tuned right here on this channel for more quality video content. I put out free plays. I'm just one of a dozen, maybe more, cappers at WagerTalk.com that does it. So Check out our content. Thank you for watching. Appreciate those comments, likes, and follows very, very much. And best of luck with all your bets this weekend. Cheers.